My name is Kimberly Harris. I am the Mentor Plus teacher at James Ward Center for Excellence, which is an alternative, non-traditional learning environment in Jefferson Davis Parish. As an educator, I am most passionate about mentoring and building relationships that inspire others to do their very best. The grade levels of my students are 6 through 8, all subjects, all boys, who mostly require accommodations, who have been accepted into the program for a year or so due to experiencing multiple social, emotional challenges at their home-based schools, as well as academic slowfulness in the traditional school setting. Good morning.
Good morning.
Why are we here? What will we give today?
Our very best.
What will we get from today?
Everything we can.
What matters?
We matter. School matters.
How smart are we?
Very smart.
Where are we headed?
This college is our choice.
Very good. Though all subjects are taught in the Mentor Plus program, you will view a middle school social studies introduction lesson of the Spanish-American War. The district curriculum and timeline are closely followed, attempting to remain on task with the home-based schools using the curriculum's Gallopade and or Bayou Bridges that take students on a journey through the history of our country and the great state of Louisiana. Students will be able to analyze a primary source document, locate and label countries that were conquered by the United States on a world map. Bring your map with you. And you can just put a check mark or something and you can label them and get back to you. Okay, so while they're up there, you are sitting here looking and trying to put them in the right spots as well at your desk. Good job, Amy. You figure something out? Good. So the big idea again is the Spanish-American War allowed the United States to acquire new territories. That's what we're getting into. That's our drive. We're moving on to find out how that even happened and why that even happened. Prior to this lesson, students studied the reform movements such as the progressive movement and labor conditions that brought about change during the late 1800s and early 1900s, which led to the imperialism in the United States and ultimately connects how the Spanish-American War started in the early 1800s or late 1800s and early 1900s. We're going to get started with a KWL chart. And this chart starts out with asking you, what do you already know? What do you want to learn? And the last area, you leave that blank because we have to go through the whole unit before we even talk about what we have actually already, what we've learned. So for the what do I know, we're starting with vocabulary. Imperialism. Imperialism. Have you heard that word before? What do you think that means?
Conquering.
Conquering, that's a good word.
An empire.
Becoming an empire, okay, awesome. What you got, Sebastian? Don't speak out.
Basically taking pieces of unclaimed land.
I prepared to teach the lesson by introducing a curated content photo and map to grasp attention so various learning styles are addressed in my classroom. To support all learners, we are in small group, extended time is prohibited, an enlarged world wall map is mounted, and of course, I read aloud as needed. And formative assessment is ongoing to check for understanding as students work together. This lesson later connects how the United States' victory in war produced a peace treaty that compelled the Spanish to relinquish claims on Cuba and to hand over Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. So your learning objective today is students will be able to analyze a primary source document, locate and label countries that were conquered by the United States on a world map. We're going to try to connect it with math, and we're going to attempt to connect with ELA as well. Of course, y'all don't understand the standards, but our standard is 8-10 for middle school social studies. We are working in small groups, you do know that. Read aloud, enlarged lab, extended time. On your documentations, make sure those that have basic skills that your stamp is on there to show that your accommodations is at hand. The materials are ready to be handed out. Okay. Imperialism, the practice of gaining power as a country by taking over areas of the world. We understand and see what it reads, then we can tap in to other things that we have learned. Come on, person. About.
Where's the 20
Alright. There's the question.
This one?
Yeah, there you go.
Put that here.
I got one answer already. I got how long the Spanish War was, so that's like 3 months. So.
Where's the name?
Just right there, that's the king.
So,
I don't know. I think no.
there's still one
Right here.
question somewhere.
Read it first.
Very good. So place the question where I can see the question answer.
49.
Good job. Okay.
Give me my question.
This one's pretty. Yeah, it's not very wide.
Well, it all makes sense. You gotta work together to make it make sense.
Put that. Okay.
You do know that to state a claim, to state the reason, to identify the evidence, and also to recognize a counterclaim, this is all things that are done in what particular subject? ELA. Y'all understand that, right?
Yes.
It deals with writing. There are many reasons why they depict people in certain cartoons, but for this lesson we are modifying to answer the questions at the bottom. As we study this primary source analysis, we are going to answer the questions, and we're going to be sure to read the caption at the bottom of the cartoon. I want you to take your ruler and your pencil, and I need you to separate that picture in quadrants. Wherever we talk about quadrants.
Math.
In what?
Math.
Math. What area is this? Quadrant what?
One.
2.
I'll try again.
Quadrant one.
Quadrant 1,
Two.
quadrant 2,
Three.
quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So this is going to be connected to math because we are going to separate our political cartoon into 4 parts and just analyze and examine what's going on in each part. 3 here and quadrant 4. This table, I want you to look in quadrant 1, discuss what you see going on in quadrant 1. This table, I want you to look in quadrant 2. You haven't done the first part yet. Well, yes, you have. You just are going to see the line. Look in quadrant 2. Where's quadrant 2? Together, quadrant 2. Discuss what you see going on in the picture together.
Either butler or someone that's builder and food too. Someone that's, I guess, it just says build.
Status or something.
It's like more of a reported person, if you see that.
I think she was. You got the.
Well, you got some bang on the beard right there. It look like you pulling a beard.
Think about what happened like way back then, I think people do that.
Why is
Quadrant 1.
It's like a butler or someone that's delivering food or something to a god that's higher stats than the rest of the public.
Okay, you're going into quadrant 2 though. I want you to stay in quadrant 1. A butler and what else you see going on in there? Now add to it.
You can definitely tell it's really old by design of like the room layout and stuff.
Yeah, are y'all listening? Which one? You want to add something to Sebastian? So y'all all in agreement? Thumbs up, thumbs down? What's going on in quadrant 2? What do you think on Frank? You running over here. I know you got something you want to say. Go ahead and say it.
Man, I was trying to. He said it looked like John F. Kennedy. I thought he died in 2011.
Right. This is for 1800s. So we can't bring in a president that was in the 1900s to this. Okay. Let's stick with what we see here going on. All right? Boys. Let's stick with what we see going on. It says to study the political cartoon and answer the questions and be sure to read the captions. And I wanted y'all, in reference to math, we separated into quadrants. Quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4 to examine each part. Now let's put it all together. Number 1, someone read the question.
What is the date at the top of the cartoon?
What is the date at the top of the cartoon?
May 28.
May 28, 1809.
Right? The date. And where did you find that? It's not on this one, it's on your page. At the very top. So obviously it was in a newspaper on that particular date in 1898.
Because of the like spice trade and food.
Food and do you see that in the back in quadrant 1 and 2? Do you see some food going on in 1 and 2?
No, not interesting.
Some food like on the wall. It's it's here right here. It's the representation of food.
They literally says Cuba steak.
Yeah, that part. Look at 3 and 4. So you're going to take 3 and you're going to take 4 and we're going to discuss it. Then we're going to see the entire photo or cartoon for what it really is. I haven't heard any particular answer. Why do you think the U.S. found these areas that you located on this map activity important?
Maybe as a good source of like supplies and for power.
Okay, good.
It's something everyone wanted at the time.
Yeah, Franklin.
They used to test nukes on the, when they were about to do wars, so probably they were using that as testing on
A testing? Okay, you got some good questions. What you got, Zai? Why do you think it was important for them to conquer those particular territories? Okay, trademarks. So some of this stuff is really prior knowledge. Do you think the economy improved when the U.S. conquered these territories?
Well, yes. It probably inflated. It could be good. It could be population-wise.
Population-wise, could be that the economy may have improved. I don't think it declined. I think it improved because it was something new, right?
Maybe from more than though.
Okay, well, in 1898, U.S. declared war on Spain. Why do you think this even happened? Why do you to get what?
More power.
More power to conquer the different territories. And let's introduce it. Our next lesson is going to be connected to how the U.S. conquered the territories. What are the territories? Guam, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and Hawaii. The lesson objective of analyzing a primary source and locating and labeling Hawaii, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines were met because the students effectively worked together to complete tasks and had lots of good conversation in regards to the introduction of the Spanish-American War. What I'd probably do next time is have students create a timeline of previous events leading up to the Spanish-American War to impact their student interest so I'll know if they want to learn more or not. After this introduction lesson, students will move on to the causes of the war, along with other exciting events that took place in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Again, my name is Kimberly Harris. I am the Mentor Plus program teacher at James Ward Center for Excellence, which is an alternative, non-traditional learning environment in Jefferson Davis Parish. Thank you all for joining us for a wonderful lesson today.